So, everyone is always talking about how movie sequels suck. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You actually love sequels, and you've put your money where your mouth is. 9 out of 10 of the top-grossing movies at the box office for the last decade have been, you guessed it, sequels. I know what you're saying. Just because everyone goes and sees the movie doesn't mean it's actually any good. Well, guess what? I got news for you. That's actually kind of true. But of the 9 sequels that have dominated the box office for the last 10 years, only 2 of them were not highly regarded by critics. You don't care about what movie critics have to say? Well, that is perfectly fine, because you, the audience, also gave high praise to 7 of these 9 films. Albeit those 7 movies differed between critics and audience, but my point still stands, goddammit. You love sequels, we love sequels, and today we are going to be talking about 3 sequels that were better than the original, so let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the Soundscape Sessions. I'm Mal, that's Trav.
What up?
This is Adam.
Hey-o.
And today, we're going to be talking about movie sequels.
Hey-o.
Sequels with the bequels, with the mequels.
Don't.
Are you done?
Yeah. Every time this guy starts his rap career, it's just like...
With the prequels and then the sequels.
No, we're done. We're done.
There was
done.
going to
Yeah,
be
we're
another
moving
one. I
on.
couldn't find it. Moving on, Corey. Moving on. Moving on, Trevor.
So last week, we were talking about remakes, and, we kind of dabbled in the discussion of sequels, and we talked about how no one's going to the movie theater, and the only time they are going to the movie theater is to see remakes or sequels.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were dogging on it for, a while.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's fun to dog.
And I mean, most people dog on sequels. Everyone talks about how movie sequels
it's true.
suck.
Yeah. And every time they come out, they're always just like, another sequel, oh my god.
Is that because more often than not they're bad? And
Well-
it's made the the audience put up some walls and stuff.
So I kind of have a counter argument to that.
Oh no, I didn't mean to get into a fight with you.
Most movies that come out are bad.
Yeah.
So just
Really?
just because most of them happen to be well, not even most of them. It's probably like a 50-50 split if
Yeah,
we're
that's
being
true.
honest. There's a lot of movies that come out that aren't sequels that are also crap, but it's just sequels are kind of I mean, to be fair, some of the worst movies of all time are definitely sequels. Son of the Mask.
Where did the wife put that invitation?
ID, not IV.
Now hold on. Where's everybody going?
To
Let me just get that
to
in there.
name
That's
one.
like a career-ruining
That's
sequel.
oh man.
So bad.
I don't think I've ever. Have you seen that?
No,
Have you seen it?
No.
I've only heard about how terrible
I've only
it is.
seen bits and pieces of I guess things on TikTok or whatever, and it just looks like
It doesn't even
every
look like a
single
movie.
Every second just looks like I just would,
Yeah.
It
just looks like really bad.
like they made every single wrong decision when they could have,
I think with a movie like that, they were just totally thinking this could be so bad, and we're still gonna make money off of it because Jim
Yeah.
Carrey did The Mask.
No, I don't think anyone sets out to be this movie's going to be terrible. I feel like there's always...
I never said they were trying to make it. I was just saying
Well, it's
in the
like the
back of their
producers.
minds, they thought no matter what, even if it does turn out to be a pile of crap,
people go
at
see
least
it.
Jim Carrey was in the first one, so people are gonna go see it.
No, and I think that is why a lot of sequels probably do get greenlit, because it's oh well, even if this doesn't they're probably a bunch of producers watching the final cut, and they're well, we've made it.
Yep. Well, it's done. Now what do we do? Do we kill it or do we?
There's actually a lot of movies that don't see the light of day.
Oh, absolutely.
We did The Substance and on the movie review show
Sure did.
last week or this week.
Yeah, just dropped on Monday.
And that movie was a movie that didn't have a distributor.
No,
True.
So it was revived by Mubi and received high praise. It hasn't made a lot of money, but a lot of people like it.
Budget back,
I gave it high
and then
praise.
some.
Yeah.
We gave it high praise.
So-
Yeah, I definitely liked it. But
I praised it high. I praised it
back
while
to,
high.
back to the topic.
I mean, yeah, so we're talking about bad sequels, but I there are actually, as I
Some
said in
good
the intro,
sequels.
I was doing some research, and yeah, in the past 10 years, minus 2020, the top grossing movie has been a sequel.
Okay.
And I actually went even further, all the way back to the year 2000. So it was 25 years, and 20 of those movies
We're sequels.
were sequels.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and like the years where it wasn't a sequel that was the highest grossing films, there were sequels in the top 5.
Yeah, I think they've always
pretty
been
ridiculous.
a thing, right? Not so much knowledge about 50s and 60s era film, but did they do it then?
No, I don't think so. I think in that era they focused a lot on like, concept pictures of like, there weren't a lot of like sequels, but there were a lot of archetype movies where it's like the male hero and the female
Yeah.
love interest, and they all followed like a very similar plot line. Like maybe the dirty criminal who actually has a heart of gold or something, right? So
Pretty quick runtime too for these movies too.
back then,
in the day.
yeah,
like
exactly.
an hour. I was talking to Travis about this earlier when we were playing Minecraft. Sponsor us. And yeah, it's like some of these movies, like they're done in like friggin' hour and 10 sometimes.
Yeah,
Like I talked about Abbott and Costello last week, obviously. So a lot of those olden time movies usually end pretty quickly. And also, you were saying not a lot of sequels for back then, but I think a lot of those movies back then were kind of used as like base material for movies that are made like today and stuff.
no, that's true.
Which
Yeah.
obviously is going to be something that I'm going to get into with
Well, like
what
even,
I'm thinking here. But
even when we were talking about last week, we talked about like 310 to Yuma, Gone in 60 Seconds. Like
Yeah.
those movies were made like back in the 50s.
60s, yeah.
mhm.
50s, yeah.
50s, even like earlier, like Scarface. It was actually
Scarface.
1930 something.
Holy crap, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Hollywood's always like been recycling its like own material, and like you
Yeah.
know,
Sometimes with similar titles, sometimes with completely different titles.
yeah,
But
yeah,
sometimes they just... Well, the thing is, that's another thing, like, I was thinking about sequels, like, I guess it's because they already had an idea that works, so they want to, like, expand on it, but then I guess maybe sometimes, like, there's just more to tell, and when there's more to tell, sometimes it turns out, better than the originals in weird ways, but
no,
I
well,
digress.
that's like the topic of
Absolutely.
today, sequels that are actually better than the originals, and like going back to like
I
what
didn't
was
mean to do that.
no, well, like going back to what I was saying about not only are the top
It's a segue.
box office movies sequels, but like some of the most highly regarded movies of all time are sequels.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we each got to pick our own sequel that we thought was better than the original.
Yeah.
And I'll start. I don't think you guys have actually seen this movie. And I was like playing with a couple choices, but I kind of wanted to go for one that maybe isn't obvious. But we've talked about James Cameron on this show before.
Canadian boy.
His Avatar franchise is like this like big budget, like huge studio like endeavor that like really started. I think the first one came out in like 2000, 2009, 2010.
2010, 8.
Something like that. And that movie was like kind of well received in the theater because of like the spectacle of it, but like critics kind of like tore it apart. It was like just like a rehashed version. Have you guys seen Avatar?
I saw the first one.
Yeah, and like it's like a very generic story. It's like basically Dances with Wolves, like Pocahontas,
Pocahontas.
like a
Dances
huge-
with Smurfs.
yeah.
Now it makes sense. Okay, cool. Now it all like okay.
Yeah,
So-
no, I know what you're saying, though.
yeah.
South Park. Sorry.
That movie like still received like high praise, but is kind of just like a lot of people like kind of turn their nose up to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard the second one was coming out, I loved Avatar 1 when it came out. I watched it a couple times at home, and I was like, ooh, okay, yeah, this movie is kind of boring and also goes on way too long, and there's not much here to really, like, rewatch, especially, like, if you're sitting at home and you're just watching it on, like, even a 60-inch television. It doesn't play the same as, like, when you're in the
need
theaters
the big.
watching it in 3D with surround sound, which is a completely different experience altogether. Not to say it's necessarily a great like screenwriting experience. It's maybe not an achievement in like academic filmmaking. It's an achievement in technological filmmaking
Definitely.
for sure. But James Cameron, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right?
But you can, though. You're fucking James Cameron. You could have hired an amazing scriptwriter.
I'm pretty sure there's been a few times where he has had his cake and he has had sex with it too. Many, many times.
Yeah,
And
Titanic's decent.
Titanic is a great movie.
Coming up?
Not the okay. Do you think Titanic had a great script?
I mean, that's a
Bing,
great
bang,
script.
boom.
That's pushing it. A good script, sure.
Yeah.
So now,
okay.
now you see, I think that,
Avatar probably had a good script.
I think James Cameron really relies on these kind of like
Good-
tales that
good
are
script, but not
old
great.
as time, like
Yeah.
and tells these stories in these like magnificent visual spectacles, which like we go to the movies to see like visual spectacles, and like I personally do like a well-written movie, a movie with a lot of thought put into it, but I also enjoy spectacle movies
And
too.
visuals, yeah, absolutely.
Right? So,
Yeah, sure.
But like, so going back to my pick, like Avatar 2 was way better than Avatar
Yeah?
1.
Okay.
And I don't think that's a hot take. I think like a lot of people probably thought the same thing, but I've seen Avatar 2 like a couple times now, even at home, and like that's a movie with a story I genuinely enjoy.
Okay.
Like, once again, it's not like this like crazy multifaceted like story of like intertwining characters and like plot twists galore, but it's like it has character arc, it has multiple character arcs, and it's not so heavy-handed with the industrialism is bad and we're killing the planet, but it's there. And I think it's there in like an interesting and clever in a kind of like satirical way as well, right?
Okay.
So,
Well, they're like all natural, like natural beings, right? So like,
Yeah.
kind of is a part of it. The
no,
whole
of course, right?
anti-imperialism thing. Like, you gotta have that. A little bit of that.
You
You
gotta
gotta
have
have a little
that.
bit of that, Travis.
Yeah, right.
I mean, with how Avatar started, you definitely can't have those movies without that theme running
Yeah,
under
right.
it.
Yeah,
100%.
you need a little peppering in of it, but like, I like how you said they made it kind of like more satirical and shit, like lighthearted, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like there's this scene where this like military operation is teaming up with this like whale catchers. They're like alien whales. They're like harvesting the whales for this like blood or whatever, this unobtainium, if you will, that is used back on Earth by all the rich people to remain looking like beautiful and young.
That was really clever. Like, did you just come up with that unobtainium?
No, that's in Avatar 1. That's what they call them. That's what they call the material in Avatar 1.
I thought you just came up with that, and I was like about to be really, I was about to really praise you right there, but that's okay.
No, it's,
sorry, continue.
It's like a movie
That's
trope.
really good. Unobtainium.
Yeah, it's like
It sounds
a movie
like
trope.
something you'd find in Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's like
we're back to Minecraft.
it's like a joke of itself, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
absolutely, yeah.
which is like when I watched Avatar.
get it.
When I watched Avatar 1 again recently, I totally forgot that that's literally what they called it, and I was like, "Oh, come on, Jim!" Like,
Yeah. I thought you just literally was just like, or unobtainium, if you will. I'm Malcolm. I'm a fucking genius. Sorry, my bad.
no, but like in the second movie, so there's like a group of like whale catchers, and Jermaine Clement
Yeah.
plays like the scientist who's like helping them hunt these like alien whales, and it's just like his like dry delivery.
These are highly intelligent beings, probably smarter than us.
No, it's smarter than me.
That is setting the bar very low.
Hey, I'm the one with the harpoon.
is just like too good. And in the end, like, you know, the industrialists always like get it in these movies. They're the bad guys, so they
Right.
fall. So in Avatar 2, they actually revive the bad guy from the first movie.
like the colonel guy?
Yeah, the colonel
no
guy.
way.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, so when that started, I was like, oh,
That's not.
man.
You just like red flags
Yeah.
all over the place.
This is not going well. But
But it ended up not being too bad.
I like what they did with him because they revived him and they kind of make him go through a similar arc that Jake Sully goes through in the first one, where he gets this like avatar body, and also he had a son in the first movie that was left on the planet,
Okay.
and it was raised by Jake Sully and all the Na'vi, I think they're called, the tall blue not Smurfs.
Raised by Smurfs. I was just about to say it.
So he doesn't know he has a kid, but like the audience, it's like kind of like led to believe that they're related, and then it's like confirmed later in the movie, and it just like it created like an interesting dynamic because like he finds out he has a son, and his son kind of hates him because his son grew up with like the Na'vi, and like he's like hunting down the Na'vi, and he wants to take revenge on like Jake Sully and like his entire family, and it's just
So kind of like a Kylo Ren and what's his face situation.
yeah,
Ren
no,
and
it's
Obi-Wan?
done a lot.
No, not
And
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
No,
Kylo
not
Ren
Obi-Wan.
is Han Solo's
Yeah,
son.
Han Solo.
Han Solo, not Obi-Wan. Sorry. They all have. We're not starting this.
No, we're not. Adam.
But yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I think the movie, it doesn't blow anything out of the water, but just like considering how simple and like dry the first movie was, I was like actually
Pleasantly surprised.
impressed by like I feel like James Cameron was probably just like, okay, everyone kind of dogged on me, so I gotta actually do something here.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And like, I'm genuinely excited for like the next movie. Like, I'm not expecting.
Is there
like,
gonna be a third one?
Yeah, there's gonna be.
There's 4, isn't there?
I think there's gonna be like 5.
Okay.
Avatar. There's gonna be an
There's actually
Avatar
maybe,
movie.
like 10.
So is like that's what James Cameron's doing like
For the rest of his life, pretty
then?
much, because
Like-
he's like, what, almost 70 probably?
Yeah, he's like
Jeez.
committed to this project. I'm pretty sure he filmed this next one right after he filmed the second one.
Well, I guess we're not gonna get Titanic 2, but
The Titanicing.
What the fuck would you do with Titanic 2?
You would raise it from the
Right?
depths.
yeah, it would be some. There would be some
and
sort
it would
of
just like crash and fall apart because it's fucking over 100 years old. What a movie!
It's like when they did in The Simpsons when it comes back and it has like the
Yeah.
Titanic takes revenge on its
Yeah, right?
on icebergs.
There you go. That's a film. There you go.
So yeah,
icebergs are the real criminals. Yeah,
that's my pick. Avatar 2. I definitely think that was a movie that was like miles better than the original, and not like I almost kind of like treated. This isn't the case, but I also kind of treat it as like a rebooting of the series almost, right? Because like it doesn't really have too much to do with the first one other than like maybe the first like half hour of the movie.
Well, it's been like, what, 10 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Between them two.
this is like
right?
world building.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's making his own Avatar world, and then now, you know, all kinds. Maybe they'll include like some red people, some purple people.
No, I don't think
Maybe the
that's happening.
Titanic will show
Maybe
up.
the Titanic will show up in Avatar, and it'll be like an underwater like.
James Cameron loves the Titanic, so
I'm telling you, that dude literally is just like, I got to go down there for research, and it's just like he figured it out the research like the first time, and then,
And then
he's just like,
hey, I wanna
all
go
the
down there again.
18, 20 more times was just like for him just being like, yeah, I'm James fucking Cameron. He's such a great director.
Okay, before you go and talk about yours, Adam, I just wanted to like see if I could guess which one you picked.
Oh,
Jenny.
sure.
Because really, So like, I guess maybe you didn't pick like what I thought you would, because I thought you would either go with Rush Hour 2
No,
or 21 or 22 Jump Street.
those are both incredible fucking sequels.
See, that's
Those are both incredible fucking sequels.
Okay, wow.
Why didn't I think of that?
Adam is just like, why didn't I ask you?
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, when he said sequels, I was kind of like, I was a little like confused, not confused. I was like overwhelmed because I had to think of a movie for like this weekend or this Friday, which Anyway, I figured it out, and it's not either of those.
you
Those
can't
are incredible.
give Adam more than one thought at a
Because
time.
I was just like, I was like, wait, I have to think of a sequel too. I got to think of a movie, and anyway, so picture this, right? The year's 1960, right?
Yeah, yes.
Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. They're just like, yo, we're gonna rob some fucking banks. 41 years later, George Clooney, Brad Pitt,
Oh God.
and Matt Damon
This is
I
what
should have
just
known.
like, you know what? We're gonna rob some fucking banks, and then casinos. I should have said casinos both times. Already fucking up, Travis. We're gonna rob some casinos, and then they do. Now I know what you're gonna say, Adam. Ocean's 11 is not a sequel to Ocean's blah blah blah. It's a remake. Yeah, I know that, Malcolm. But you know what isn't a remake? Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13. You said I'm allowed to choose. You said if it's the
Yeah.
same thing, I can include them. So
You said, Malcolm.
he said it. He said it. I got it in writing. So let's unpack this here. So Ocean's 11 comes out.
So hold up. You think Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13 is better than Ocean's 11?
I know this guy's mental.
I think Ocean's 13 is. But
Whoa.
He's mental on
But
account
that's
of the
because.
chocolate.
But that's just because I've Can I finish?
Yeah, go
Can
for it. I
finish?
just wanted to be clear.
Yeah,
wanted to be
just
clear.
That's like when somebody's just like, oh yeah, break a leg, and you just like completely throw a wrench into their whole momentum and groove. And now I'm just kind of like, oh wait, now I might like the first one. Okay, so anyway, so the first one's incredible, right?
Of course.
Everybody dogs on the second one, and everybody thinks the third one is just like, why? It's just like a little bit too much and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the third one is fucking the perfect amount of everything, like kind of coming full circle. So in the first one, the 11 of them go and rob Terry Benedict, who's played by future Malcolm. Sorry, I can't remember his name. So at the end of that movie, they get away with it, right?
Yeah.
Or so they think. Friggin' Frank Ocean. Sorry, Danny Ocean. Frank Ocean is a music artist. Danny Ocean has to take a bullet, go to jail at the end of the first one. Spoilers to make the plan fully work. So second one comes around. They don't know that friggin' Terry Benedict was tipped off by a new villain. So now they're just like, we gotta fuck off to Europe. It's a good movie. I think it's really the funniest one. But anyway, they get away with it twice. Third one comes, and who else but Al Pacino, our boy Al Pacino, is just like, I'm gonna build this huge fuck you skyscraper tower casino, like right in the center. He's like the biggest asshole ever. He gives our boy Ruben, I forget his name, Future Malcolm, he gives him like a heart attack or something like that. And then Terry Benedict, the guy from the first one that is like their sworn enemy, they have to work with him to fuck over Al Pacino and shit.
I forgot about that.
And then it's just like the coolest thing ever, because it's just like at the beginning he's just like, all right, first rule, if any one of you screws me, I'll fucking kill. He doesn't say fucking, but he's like, I'll kill you. So I get excited. When I get excited, I say the F word. He's like, you do it again, I'll kill you or whatever. It's like, second one, you're going to pay me double. Like, it's just like a crazy, outrageous deal. But like the whole thing is about honor, because Al Pacino broke the rule of like, you know, like, watch the movie. But anyway, I think
is it like Honor Among Thieves or something?
Yeah, I guess, but it's they're all thieves, but it's just like Al Pacino just takes it like too far, and he has a chance to get out and he doesn't. So then I like movies where like you never for 1 second think that like your main guy is gonna like be down and out and shit. There are a few low points and stuff, but like, you know, it's just just me thinking about it just makes my head just go like, you know. But
so if I recall, in Ocean's 13, Al Pacino is like not just the bad
Willie
guy,
Bank,
but like he's the bad guy that like nobody wants to fuck with,
because
right?
he's like screwed over every single person that he's ever worked with, and anybody who's ever tried to come at him, he just can't. Like, they just can't get to him.
People who bet on me to lose, and they lose big. You come at me, you better know I move quick, and when I do, I slice like a goddamn hammer.
And the only reason why George Clooney Danny Ocean hasn't gone after him is because he hasn't really like fucked with his inner circle.
Yeah.
Then Ruben goes and makes a deal with him, and they're just like, don't make a deal with him. And then he ends up like fucking him over, and then Ruben kind of like goes into like this like coma, but not really, but like he's aware, but he's not. And then it's just like, it just becomes like a whole like, how can we like get back at this guy? And then just every single time they just can't figure it out. And then it's just like, oh, let's bring our old fucking nemesis in it, because he's the bank. Like, Terry Benedict's like the richest motherfucker ever, right? Like, except for Willie Banks. So I guess I really don't have good taste in what's like Academy Award level cinema. Man. But like things like that, like honestly, the first one, I love the first one so much. And I love the second one too. But the third one I've seen like the most, because it's just it also gives that like just crazy 2000s vibe that like you just see that movie like that movie was in 2005 or 6 or something like that. Look at all those like reflective lights and shit. But yeah, and I didn't really come here to like try and defend it or anything. I just kind of came to like say my praise for how much I love all those movies. And like even the original one, it was on TV like back when I was living upstairs. Watched it, great too. Like, I fucking actually would love to watch it again. But I love George Clooney and Brad Pitt together.
Yeah,
I love them together so much. There's just so many times when like the others aren't around. They're just like, you know, like Kaneki and friggin' Zenzuko. It's like so many times where they're just like nobody else is around, and they're just talking like they were. Like, no, like, you know, like, let their guard down and shit.
Yeah.
Friggin' George Clooney does this, like, line. I know we're not talking about the first one, but he does this, like, line in the first one. He's just like,
because the house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Been practicing this speech, haven't you?
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed it.
No, it was good. I liked it. Team beat things harsh.
that was really good. Did you rehearse that? And George was like, yeah, I did rehearse that. Was it good? He's like, no, it was good. It was good. It was good. And it's just funny how like they're so lighthearted about it and stuff. But anyway,
I definitely
that's what I choose.
I definitely remember hearing about like they made those other two movies because like Steven Soderbergh and all the actors like had so much fun.
Dude, it was
making those movies.
I could George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Carl Reiner. Friggin' Matt Damon, Don Cheadle, Casey Affleck, Scott Caan, like, anyway. It's just the whole the whole cast and characters. They just had clearly must have had like a lot of fun because like the chemistry you can see.
Definitely.
It's just so fun to fucking watch.
And one thing I've really learned to appreciate about Steven Soderbergh movies is he really lets his actors act.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was watching a movie this weekend. I think I was telling you guys about it. It's called The Limey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Steven Soderbergh film from like 1999. It's got like this old school British actor who's got this like crazy accent. He's walking around talking like this, got me fingers in me thumbs. It's like absolutely ridiculous.
Tip, top, tip.
And Peter Fonda plays like the bad guy. And there's this scene in the movie right before the big climax where the angry British guy's coming for Peter Fonda. And they're just like sitting there cracking like peanuts and like watching TV. And like, it's like, I feel like there wasn't even a script. I feel like Steven Soderbergh was just like, no, just
do whatever.
Just like, like you're nervous. There's tension. Like, and they're just like, he's just like, did you put the shells back in the thing? Take the shells out of the thing. It's just like this indiscriminate dialogue, and it goes on for like
that, though. Like,
5 minutes. You're like watching this, and you're just like, what am I watching here? But it's like so subtle, and I think that's like what those Oceans, especially Oceans 12 and Oceans 13, is because Oceans 11 is like very much so like a heist movie. Like it follows the heist formula.
Yeah.
And I think that's why like a lot of people like it, because it's kind of an easier movie to like and appreciate. Whereas like what you're saying with like Oceans 12 and Oceans 13 is really more about like the characters that they've created,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, I mean anybody could rob a casino, right?
I mean, we've seen it enough times.
It's just like, it's plenty of times. But the thing is, it's like every single movie also, like, it just gets resolved in such, like, a nice way. And it always is either, like, a phone call or, like, thing, but it's always, like, somebody directly to the main bad guy and just saying, just, like, you lost, pretty much. Just, like, and the best one is, like, in the third one, where he's just, like, I know people, like, who can really hurt you. I know people who's, like, you know, you're going to wish you were never born, and then Danny Ocean's just like, well, first of all...
Well, first, I know all the guys that you'd hire to come after me. They like me better than you.
They like me way more than you. And the whole thing was just like, Al Pacino and Ruben held Frank Sinatra's hand. That was like a big thing.
You shook Sinatra's hand. You should know better, Willie.
There's a law among people who shook Sinatra's hand.
Gotcha.
Completely broke that, and he's just like, you shook Sinatra's hand, Willie. Like, you know, shame on you, buddy.
Shame
and then
on
he just
you.
walks away and just sees everything just like crumble down with like this sweet like fucking polka music playing. I don't know if it's polka, but it's just like so sick. Anyway, I gotta stop talking about it. The music in those movies is so important too, like in the Ocean's movies, like so good.
All right, you're up. Batter's up.
Am I really up? I mean, I
down.
guess, I don't know, mine's a kind of a cliche pick, I guess.
Rush Hour 2.
No, Rush Hour 2, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with like The Godfather 2.
I knew, okay.
Yeah, when you told
I had
me
a
this,
feeling yesterday. Not today, though.
I was excited to hear what you have to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, like, okay, so I love like the first Godfather movie and the second Godfather movie a lot. And I want to say I watched the first one like maybe 5 years ago, and it was like late to the train, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, obviously. And I just like really liked this movie, and then I kind of loafed on watching the second one because I was like, how do you make a better movie than this? Like, and then they did, and then I finally watched the second one, and I was like, holy shit! Like, this is like even better than the first one. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I just thought it was the reason how it sticks out for me is because of exactly that reason. I did the whole, it's a sequel. I don't even know if it's gonna be that good. And then someone probably told me
The Godfather's dead.
That this like number 2 was like it's actually really really good, and then so I gave it a go. But yeah, no, the second one is like in my opinion better just because you get it's really 2 movies in one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're getting what's happened after the first movie, and then you're also getting the prequel to how he even became the Godfather. So
how the original
Godfather became the Godfather.
Robert De Niro.
Well, yes, he's played by Robert De Niro, absolutely. That was another wild thing for me watching that movie. Just like Robert De Niro doesn't speak like any English in that movie.
Not a lick of
just
English.
All Italian, which is it's very, very funny seeing
Parle Italiano.
him not say one word in English. Well, I think he says he says a couple because he says
course,
I will make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'll make an offer he don't refuse. Don't worry.
But no, it was really good, and I don't know, I just really like this movie. These movies are movies that I watch like at least once a year, sometimes twice.
All three
Oh,
of
yeah,
them.
you've been saying
You know what?
Well,
Okay, so it's actually
Here
so
we
funny
go.
because I just said like I loafed on seeing the second one. I have not seen the third one because I've heard that it's just a giant letdown. So it's a matter of, when do I want that giant letdown? Then I'll watch it.
well, let me watch the first two.
Yeah, and then we'll watch the third.
And
There
we'll
you
do
go.
it all together.
Yeah, there you go.
It's easier to like take a shellacking when there's three people.
Yeah.
Can
We'll be
spread
there
out
for you.
spread out the beatings. You know?
Right. And I've just heard like from people who have seen it that they should have just left it at Godfather 1 and 2. It wasn't a story that needed to be told. It would have been fine just leaving it at number 2. And I've also heard like really bad things about Francis Ford Coppola and like just letting his daughter kind of do whatever, which is funny because she's actually a really good director herself too. So, I
was in Entourage.
I haven't seen that shit yet, so I better.
So Francis Ford Coppola let his doctor.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Good relationship
Malcolm
with the
doesn't get a lot
doc.
of those. That's great.
So Francis Ford Coppola let his daughter direct the third one.
Not directed,
No,
like
just
he
be in it.
technically directed it,
Oh,
but
okay.
like she just kind of had a lot of free range to do, and she wasn't really that great in the movie. So, yeah.
In Entourage, she makes light of it and shit. Since
Oh, really? No
Entourage
ways.
is so like self-aware and shit.
I actually don't. I watched Entourage, but I guess I didn't get that
I think
far.
she dates Turtle for a little bit.
True. But I don't know. Like for me, I know it's a pretty cliche pick, but it's,
Well, I was thinking about that too because you were saying like they should have just like not made the third one. Like people are saying that. What isn't that the case for a lot of them too? Like they made just for the sake of like, oh, it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
Just like for the sake of saying it's a trilogy. Like, did they really need to make the third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? Did they really need to make the third friggin' Mighty Ducks movie? Yes, they did. But
those are the worst ones. But
But
you know what's so
they
funny
are
is
the
those are
worst
like I
ones,
like
right?
those ones.
Is there ever a time in a trilogy where the third one is the best one? The only one I can think of is like, and I haven't even seen Lord of the Rings, but is Return of the King the best
Return of the King
There you
is
go.
like
Is
definitely.
Revenge of the Sith the best one?
Revenge of the Sith is definitely the best one out of the prequel
Out of the
movies.
prequel movies.
But what
For
about
sure.
the 4, 5, 6? Is it the second one you
So
said?
4,
My
5,
favorite. But
5 is the best one, you said?
So 4 is A New Hope, 5 is Empire Strikes Back, which is like regarded as like the best one of the trilogy. And
Return
yeah,
of
a
the
lot of
Jedi.
people don't like Return of the Jedi. A lot of people
Why?
like think they don't like the Ewoks.
Yeah, the Ewoks are kind of annoying.
Okay.
I mean, like,
Never seen any of them, but like I know what an Ewok is.
I think for
His eye
me,
just twitched.
as a huge Star Wars fan, I think when you take those movies in the context of Star Wars, which is this like huge cinematic universe,
Yeah,
universe,
cinematic universe.
Return of the Jedi, and the prequels also fall into this, like Episode 1 and Episode 2. It's like those are really the movies that like George Lucas wanted to make. He likes having these like big sci-fi scapes with like these silly animals and like these
Well, you're
like
allowed to do
lighter
that.
moments, right? So like they really
Jar Jar Binks. For
Jar
some
Jar
reason.
Binks. Yes, yes, exactly.
All right, hot take. I said Jar Jar Binks I like more than Chewbacca.
I mean,
Oh,
he
wow,
definitely has
man.
more personality than Chewbacca. I'll give you that.
Yeah, well,
Sorry. Can you imagine that dude just like? But then again, Jar Jar Binks is also pretty annoying. But like, at least Jar Jar Binks you can like have a conversation with. I feel like you calm him down.
Anyway, yeah, like Revenge of the Sith is considered the best of the prequel trilogy. Return of the Jedi is like definitely. I mean, when I was a teenager, when I first
Okay.
like really got into that series, I definitely preferred Return of the Jedi over Empire. I mean, now I feel like I definitely have like you can't argue. There's so many good moments in Empire
I'm
that
kind of
just like make it the pinnacle of that trilogy.
I'm kind of thinking now. I might have, but I think that the reason why those work and the third one is the best is because it was supposed to be a trilogy from the get-go.
yeah.
But if it's just a movie and it's just like, I'm not saying Rush Hour 3 is bad. I like Rush Hour 3.
I don't.
Okay, cool. Now I can shit on it. The thing is, like, Rush Hour 1 was a dope movie. And then Rush Hour 2, in my opinion, I think is better. I should have said Rush Hour 2, but whatever. If they just kind of stopped it at Rush Hour 2, I would have been, like, completely fine with that.
Yeah, same here.
But Rush Hour 3, not saying Rush Hour 3 is bad, but, and now they have Rush Hour 4 or something that is coming out or has come out or something.
I think it came out, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it did, I don't remember. But, I mean, I think it's more so when it's not planned, I guess.
No, I get what you're saying. It's just like, yeah, George Lucas like made the prequel trilogy like with the plan of it being a trilogy, and those were the movies he wanted to make when he made the original trilogy. It's just the technology couldn't keep up
yeah.
with like what he wanted to do, and like there's a lot of things that like they developed in Star Wars that are like everyday in the movie industry now, right? So George Lucas is definitely responsible for pioneering filmmaking in that sense, and it is just to have fucking teddy bears defeating the Empire, everyone. So.
Listen, that's cool, man. That's awesome. I like friggin' Care Bears. Do
I have
the Care Bear countdown.
A hot take, like honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody always, when I tell them this, they're just like, "What, dude? That's fucked up." Okay, so I like. Don't get me wrong. I like the first Toy Story movie. It's great.
Yeah.
But in my opinion,
The second one
is better. What? If I go and put on a if I'm like, I want to watch Toy Story. If I get the feeling, I'm not putting on the first one. I'm putting on the second one.
Are we doing hot takes?
Yeah, sure.
Wait. I want
to unpack that though.
Yeah, I want to talk about this Toy Story thing because, like, I get what you're saying about Toy Story 2 because I think it's definitely the more interesting movie. It has the more interesting story. There's like not more conflict, but I think it's just like a bit more like it's in the world of the toys, right? Whereas in the first one is like the world of the toys kind of takes a backseat to the kid, to like the kid next door and like
Absolutely,
Andy's
Sid.
favorite toy, right? So. But I also think like if we're gonna have hot takes about Toy Story, like Toy Story 3 is the best one.
I was gonna say no love for Toy Story 3.
Dude,
I enjoyed it, but no. Like for me, it goes like 2, 1, 3, and then I didn't even see the newest one.
So on a list, I forgot what list it was. They said like Toy Story 3 was like one of like the greatest movies like of all time, let alone like sequels and shit.
I'd agree with that.
I haven't seen the third. I haven't seen the third one enough. I've seen the second one and the first one a bunch.
The fucking incinerator scene is dope.
Oh
Dude.
yeah, the second. Okay,
they all fucking hold each other's hand and like
yeah, okay,
like accept their death. Like that's like I remember like
Quentin
I was with
Tarantino said that was the perfect.
I was
ending.
with like you and Jordan in like the movie theater, and I was like, man, am I gonna fucking break down and cry right now in front of these guys?
No, they're not gonna kill him. They can't do that. It's not the WWE.
We all went to see it. Me, you, and Jordan.
Yeah, we all went to go see it. We went to go.
Did
see
I like it that day?
Yeah, we were all stoked.
True. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it ends like in a very, very beautiful way. But the thing is,
so beautiful.
The second one has Kelsey Grammer though.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer.
And Kelsey Grammer
he's dope
is
as
one of the
Friar.
he's one of those dudes that like he's like Nicolas
Prospector
Cage.
Pete.
He's
Prospector Pete. I was about to say Friar Tuck, and I was like, nope.
No.
Robin Hood.
But Prospector Pete, or Stinky Pete.
Yeah.
They said that because apparently there's gonna be a Toy Story 5. I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently there's gonna be a Toy Story 5.
I could totally see that.
And if there is, apparently Stinky Pete is gonna come back because he didn't exactly die. He just like apparently he's gonna come back as like a new man because
Jason Alexander too is in it in the second one. Or sorry, not Jason Alexander, Wayne Knight as
Wayne
the fucking
Knight,
Wayne Knight,
which is dope.
We had our boy why can't I think of his name? Ernest.
Yep. That was his last one.
That was his last one. Was the second one.
Yeah,
before he passed away. Shout out, future Malcolm. Please do me some justice because I love Ernest. I'm sorry, I'm putting a lot of extra work for you.
You guys don't know how much work you put in without apologizing. So.
I do because I edit too.
Then I'm not sorry anymore. Then
no, but you don't edit these episodes with all the different movies we go to.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, for you it's just one movie. Yeah.
For me, a lot of times we already do our research before the movie, so
wow,
you guys get everything right when you say it.
Okay, well if you guys like animations, here's another one. If you want a hot take, we've said it a few times. I like an extremely goofy movie more than a goofy movie.
Oh yeah,
I like the straight to VHS DVD sequel.
That's how you know it's a classic.
The one where Max goes to college and he's old enough to just not be chasing after girls. He's chasing after the X Games. Really, he's chasing after a life. He's chasing after individuality and being a man himself.
I love how into this you are.
And Goofy comes in because he doesn't have a high school diploma, so he's got to finish that. And then X Games, because it's the 2000s, everything, listen, watch it. It's a great movie. No, not a musical, too. That's a big thing. It's not a musical. That's why I like it a lot.
There you go. Before we wrap up here, there was a couple of honorable mentions I wanted to say. I hope I've been talking into this.
It's okay.
So apparently all James Cameron did at the end of the 80s and in the beginning of the 90s is like make Ridley Scott movies better, because he did Terminator 2 and Alien 2.
Okay.
And like those are definitely regarded as like the better movies.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
some
yeah.
people disagree that Alien is the best of that movie franchise. But
true.
they are. It's okay for them to be wrong, Christina. And there's also, The Dark Knight. Like
I was going to say, The Dark Knight has to be
Why
on
didn't
your
nobody talk about The Dark Knight?
Because it's obvious,
that,
Travis.
that was my first choice, and I was
Everybody
like,
said that.
how many people have said The Dark Knight?
Yeah,
It's
dude.
like, it's not even a question. But talking about movies where the third movies were terrible, The Dark Knight Rises is like kind of unwatchable. Like,
Really?
there are so many
You don't like
moments in that movie that are just so cringe.
I will give you that. Like, I mean, I can watch it, but it is one I watch it because I laugh at some moments of it sometimes.
But it's just like you
Oh, your buddy.
can't watch The Dark Knight and then The Dark Knight Rises the
it's
next
true.
day. You need to
No.
give yourself some time.
That's true.
Because the drop off is
Well,
just
the thing is,
so
time
steep.
has indeed passed between movies, so give yourself time between movies, right?
Well, I mean, in this
A few years passed, right, from the second one to the third one.
in the
Like-
third one, they just go. They rely too much on the trope. Well, it's Bruce Wayne. He's Batman, so it's just
Yeah.
like you just gotta look over it. That's all. It's
Yeah.
just like, well,
Yeah.
Well, it's
no,
Bruce
you
Wayne.
were in the middle of the fucking desert, in the middle of nowhere, and you just
impossible.
got
Where
back
did
to
you go?
Gotham
Yeah,
in like
okay,
2
yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He climbed out of that thing. He climbed out of that thing, though.
Like you could make a whole movie on how he got back to fucking Gotham.
Seriously. So many hand waves in that movie. And I feel like a lot of it was Christopher Nolan didn't want to make that movie. He wanted to end it after The Dark Knight, and the studio was I think it was like a deal with the devil. He was probably like, if I do this for you, you have to fund every single fucking movie
Then
I do
want
for
to
the
do
rest of my
Oppenheimer,
life.
for God's sakes.
I'm pretty sure that movie wasn't even done by like Warner Bros.
Yeah,
Though. I
true.
think like the last movie he did with them was like Tenet or something like that. I don't know. There's a bunch of Christopher Nolan in studio drama because he's
Yeah,
like
so that makes sense. So
he can do
his
whatever
heart
he-
wasn't really into
yeah,
it then.
yeah, no, exactly, right?
Your heart has to be into it, man. Your soul, your body, your mind, your...
Well, that's why The Dark Knight came out so well.
I mean, yeah,
It was just
Also just perfectly cast, so...
a lot of good things. A lot of things went right in that movie, and it's just like one of those films.
A lot of things went so right in that movie
Yeah.
that
But, like,
they
that-
went wrong in real life.
But like that's why it's like not even
It's so
interesting
crazy.
to talk about at
about
this
because
point
everybody's
because
already talked
everyone already knows
Exactly.
how awesome
Yeah, here we
that
are
movie
talking
is.
about-
I know, right?
Yeah, well, but it deserves a mention.
No,
as
Yeah,
you
for sure.
said.
honorable
It definitely
mention.
deserves a mention.
I mean, Mad Max Fury Road, like
Mm-hmm.
that's a sequel that kind of trashed all the other Mad Max movies. I mean,
love that movie too.
that movie
Furiosa's
is like
dope.
sick.
I really enjoyed Furiosa though too. So
There you go.
I'm by no means is it better than Fury Road, but I didn't mind Furiosa.
Okay, you know why? I now know why I haven't seen Dune or Dune 2 or Mad Max or whatever the sequel is, because I don't think I'm into desert
You don't like
movies,
deserts?
desert flicks.
I like apocalypse shit.
Adam hates sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Adam and
No,
Anakin Skywalker.
you didn't, son. And Anakin is my favorite. Whoa.
There you go.
There you go.
One
Anakin
last-
is my favorite.
One last honorable mention. I don't know if you guys saw this movie, but Logan.
Yeah,
No,
that was a
never
great
saw it,
movie.
no.
That was
Yep.
like probably the best Wolverine movie they've ever made. I mean, I know Deadpool and Wolverine was like awesome, but like Logan was like the first
I mean, I
Wolverine
gotta
movie
give
that
it to
actually
Logan, yeah.
had heart and character and was real
And
and
also
gritty.
closure in a very sad way, but closure.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And X-23 or whatever her name is, or
Hugh Jackman is like, I'm never playing Wolverine again, and then like 10 minutes later is like, actually.
Well, I got
Well, and-
paid $20 million, so I'll slap
Ryan-
on the suit again.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. And it's like, but that's what's funny. They made a joke about
Yeah,
it,
they
right?
did joke
So they're
about
just
it.
like, oh,
Have fun
yeah.
playing this character until you're dead. It's like,
But at that, I think we got to wrap it up. This has gone on a bit longer than intended, but that's
They
okay.
always do. We always like to go
we have
longer.
fun doing this.
You know.
We release a movie review podcast every Monday, so check that out. And you won't see us here for a while because I am going away.
Itala.
He's going to Italy, man.
I'm going to Italy, rest and recuperation. So we'll probably see you guys
In a few weeks.
in a few weeks. If you miss us, let us know. Leave some comments.
I mean, the video pods are still going to come out every Monday.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we still got a movie.
You'll still see me and Adam, just not this beautiful dude.
But that means maybe we'll have some interesting guests on too. You never know.
Very true.
Right.
Never know.
And then
might have a couple things playing.
And then, this guy. Why did you make that sound effect?
I don't know.
We always have something to look forward to here. And on that note,
see you guys later.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Adios.